Welcome back to another class. In this class, we shall be talking about a new chapter, value of supply. I hope you remember that supply has three different components: value, time, and place. We have already discussed what is time of supply and how to calculate it under forward charge and reverse charge. In this class, we shall be talking about value of supply, and in this class, we shall be covering the whole chapter. It is not a big chapter because, according to the syllabus, very few things are there, and that is all that we are going to discuss today. So this comes under the section 15. Okay, so let us proceed ahead. Over here we need to know one thing that is called transaction value. Usually, what is transaction value? What is transaction? Let us first start in that place. Transaction money ki ঠিক আছে? Transaction money, I purchase something. That whole process is called transaction. I get something and I pay something. Okay, now what is transaction value? The amount that I have paid is the value of that transaction. Okay, that is in very general sense. As a student of commerce, we must be knowing about all these things. But when it comes to taxation, what is transaction value? According to the section, it is given, it is actually the price paid or payable. Now, what does this mean, paid or payable? It is not always that prices are always paid. হয়তো অনেক সময় outstanding কিছু থাকতে পারে. So over here, transaction value is first of all the price that is either paid or that remains to be paid. Okay, for what? For supply of goods or services, or it can be a combination of both. So that is transaction value. But আমরা transaction value দিয়ে কথাটা শুরু করছি কেন? Because everywhere we will find transaction value, but we need to be concerned about something else. Okay, that is transaction value থেকে কি করে taxable value হতে পারে? Taxable value is the value on which tax can be charged. It's not always the transaction value. Okay, so this thing must be kept in mind. যে ট্রানজাকশন ভ্যালু জেনারেলি আমি সারফেস থেকেই দেখে নিতে পারবো এবং বুঝে যেতে পারবো যে ওকে দিস ইজ দ্য ভ্যালু ইন হুইচ দ্য ট্রানজাকশন হ্যাজ অকার্ড। বাট ট্যাক্সের জন্য কিন্তু আমার ট্রানজাকশন ভ্যালু নয়, আমার ট্যাক্সেবল ভ্যালুটা দরকার। সো হাউ শুড উই অ্যারাইভ এট দ্যাট? হাউ ডু উই আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্যাট? ওকে, সি ট্রানজাকশন ভ্যালু থেকে ট্যাক্সেবল ভ্যালু হতে গেলে we have basically two conditions that needs to be satisfied. What are those two conditions? Those two conditions are, first, the supplier and the recipient are not related. Supplier and the recipient should not be related. Okay. And secondly, price is the sole consideration. এমন নয় যে আমি আধা প্রাইস পে করলাম আর বাকি আধা আমি ধান খেতি বাড়ি করে ওকে বাকিটা দিয়ে দিলাম. No payment in kind. Price has to be the sole consideration. Clear? So if these two conditions are satisfied, then the transaction value ends up becoming the taxable value. Okay, if one of them is violated, then there are different rules under GST which is not in the syllabus, so we shall not be discussing it. So for our case, for us to understand what is value of supply, we need to keep these two conditions in mind. When can a transaction value be considered as taxable value? When these two conditions are satisfied. Okay, let us proceed ahead. In your syllabus, it's given that we need to consider inclusion in transaction value and the exclusion in transaction value. So we shall be discussing first the inclusion in transaction value, then secondly the exclusion in transaction value. Now, transaction value can be basically divided into inclusion and exclusion, as we have already seen in the syllabus synopsis. Okay, এবার inclusion and value মধ্যে we have 5 different topics that we can discuss, and in exclusion and value মধ্যে we have 2 different points that we need to consider. So under this 5 different points, and under exclusion 2 different points. Okay, so let us start with the first one, inclusions in transaction value. Firstly, inclusion in transaction value. What are those 5 different points? Let us look at those one by one. Okay, first, taxes. এখানে কি বলছে ট্রানজাকশন ভ্যালুতে কি ইনক্লুড করা হবে টু কনসিডার ইট অ্যাজ the taxable value ঠিক আছে taxes. Our first question might be, sir, didn't we learn in GST that GST is supposed to avoid cascading effect taxes upon taxes? So why are we including taxes? Now, GST was introduced to avoid VAT upon VAT. So GST has been introduced to reduce GST upon GST. But that does not mean যে অন্য duties বা cess fees বা different charges are excluded. Those can be still charged and there will be tax upon tax still. But tax upon tax বা cascading effect কিসের উপর করা হচ্ছে? If GST charge upon GST, if VAT is charged upon VAT. ওটা কিন্তু cascading effect মানা হয় না if GST is charged upon excise duty. That is not cascading effect. Okay, so generally if there has been any tax that has been paid except exception কোনগুলো জিএসটি অ্যাক্টের বাইরে যদি অন্য কোনো চার্জ থাকে সেগুলো যদি পে করা হয় as tax, then those has to be included in the value of transaction, okay, to consider it as taxable value. Next we have second point, supplier's obligation made by recipient. Sometimes recipient end up paying on behalf of the supplier. যেখানে supplier এ pay করার কথা সেখানে recipient ends up paying. Now ওদের মধ্যে কোনো adjustment ওরা করে নেবে, that is not our lookout. But the fact remains that recipient ends up paying on behalf of the supplier. In such case, that amount which the recipient has paid on behalf of the supplier has to be included in the transaction value to consider it as taxable value. Okay. Next, incidental expenses. What are incidental expenses? Many expenses occur even before delivery that are actually included in the price of the product. Just for example, আমরা যখন accounting করেছি, we have always considered that when a machine is purchased and when different inspection charges are incurred and then installment charges are there, we have to include that in the price of the machine. We learned that in accounting. Similarly, over here, any incidental expenses related directly to the supply of the product has to be included. Just for example, sometimes there might be commission, sometimes there may be some packing charges. So all these things can be there and that has to be included in the transaction value. Okay, and only then it can be considered as taxable value. Next, fourth point, different interest. Sometimes interest or late fee or penalty may be charged for delayed payment by the recipient. And if that is the case, then that extra charge as interest or late fee or penalty will have to be considered as a part of the consideration or as a part of the transaction value. Okay, at that time, GST would be charged on that. And the last part is subsidy. Subsidies are actually linked to the price. Subsidies can be provided by many different entities. If it is provided by central and state government, then it is fine. We will not consider it. But if subsidy is provided by any other entity other than central government and state government, we will have to consider it in the transaction value to consider it as taxable value. Okay, so these are the five different things, five different points. Now we are going to do case studies based on each of these points. Okay, and at the end of the case study, after we solve it, we are going to again come back to the same screen and we are going to face this question. Okay, what was this case study related to? Which of these 5 points was the case study related to? So let us begin with the case studies. First case study, it talks about X who owns a commercial flat. It is given on rent to A Limited. So who is the owner? X is the owner and A Limited is the tenant. Okay. Now we have seen previously that if a flat is given out on rent, that is excluded from being a supply. But only if it is included only if it is a commercial. It is used for commercial purpose. So over here a question বলে দিচ্ছে যে this flat is a commercial flat. So it will come under the purview of supply, and thus it will be charged under GST. Okay, GST would be charged upon it. So X owns the flat, A Limited gives the rent. What is the rent? Rent is rupees 2,50,000 per month. That is the rent. Now, besides rent, X recovers. Now, look at this point. X recovers. That means the owner is recovering house tax of rupees 90,000 from A Limited. Now, what is the taxable value? Okay, who is supposed to pay the house tax? The owner is supposed to pay the house tax, not the tenant. But somehow X has recovered that money from A Limited. Now, how to solve this? Solution. What is the rent? Rent is 2,50,000 per month. That has to be multiplied by 12 because in a year there are 12 months. So, what is the total amount? 30 lakh. Now, house tax, how much was collected? 90,000. So, the total taxable value for the year is 30 lakh 90,000. Okay. Now, this is the taxable value. So, let us ask this question. Among which of this have we dealt with in the first case study? I would say we have dealt with the second one, this one. Supplier's obligation made by recipient, because X was supposed to pay, but then the recipient, who was A Limited, paid it. Okay, so we have discussed this portion. Second one is complete. Let us move to the next case study. Next case study states a theatre charges rupees 10,000 per person for a musical program to be held in Chennai on 1st January 2022. Besides, it collects 5% entertainment tax. This is 5% entertainment tax imposed by Tamil Nadu government. What is the taxable value for GST? How to solve it? Simple. First, we need to see what is the ticket charge. It is 10,000 rupees. এবার 10,000 টাকা টিকিট চার্জ কত entertainment tax চার্জ করা হচ্ছে 5%. Now, do you remember the first point that we discussed? Taxes will be included. If it is not GST, entertainment tax does not come under GST, so it will be included. So then what is the taxable value? The taxable value is actually inclusive of the entertainment tax, which is 10,000 plus 5% of 10,000, which is 500. That comes to 10,500. Now this is the taxable value. Let us move ahead. Now, which case did we discuss over here? Of course, the case 1, taxes. We discussed about this. So this is done. This has been done. 3 more left. Case 3. X supplies artificial silk to Y at the rate of rupees 500 per meter. Okay. What is the product? It's artificial silk. What is the charge? Rupees 500 per meter. Who is supplying to whom? X is supplying to Y. X also collects broker's commission. Okay, X is collecting broker's commission from whom? From Y. So Y has to pay commission, which he has paid at the rate of 5% to a broker to get the input supply. That means X had to pay brokerage to someone else, and that amount X is collecting from Y. So Y এর actually কত হয়ে যাচ্ছে? ওকে খালি 500 টাকাই দিচ্ছে নাকি আরো এক্সট্রা দিচ্ছে? Obviously extra দিচ্ছে, because X is also collecting the brokerage that he has paid to someone else. So now the question is, what is the taxable value of supply? Okay, or taxable value for GST. Rate per meter, we have seen according to the question, is 500 rupees. Now brokerage will be based on each of those meters. Okay, which comes to rupees 25 per meter. Now we have to collect it together, because brokerage is an incidental charge and it has to be included. So the total taxable value then becomes rupees 525 per meter. Adding up 500 and 25 together gives us 525. Okay, what is this 25? This is brokerage. It will be included. Okay, so now coming back to this screen again, which one have we discussed now? We have discussed this point, third point. So this is done, this is done, this also has been discussed. We are left with two more. Let us look at this case. C Limited owns a coaching institute in Puri. The institute charges rupees 18,000 per student for giving training in digital marketing. Okay. However, this training program is subsidized. Okay, this is a case of subsidy. Subsidized by different institutions as follows. State Government of Orissa 500 per student, PQ Charitable Trust rupees 200 per student, Government of Japan rupees 100 per student. Consequently, C Limited charges rupees 17,200 plus GST per student. What is the value of taxable supply? Okay. Now, according to the conditions, we have seen that if subsidy is provided by any other entity other than the state and the central government, then those subsidies will have to be included in the taxable value of supply. Okay, so over here, what are the entities that are not state government or central government? State government of Orissa, that will be included. Chalo, that's different. But is PQ Charitable Trust an institute that belongs to central or state government? No. Is government of Japan a part of central government? Not at all. It is a foreign government. Okay, so this too has to be added back. So how to do it? Solution says, what is the transaction value that they have put? 17,200. Add subsidy by PQ Charitable Trust, which is 200 rupees, and then add the subsidy back by Japan government, which is 100 rupees. Then the total comes to 17,500 rupees, which is the value of taxable supply. Okay, so now which of this case has been discussed? We have discussed subsidy. Okay, so this is done, this is done, this is done, and this has also been discussed. We are left out with interest. Let us look at it now. X sells a laptop to Y. So who is selling to whom? X is selling to Y. For how much? What is the price of the laptop? 60,000 rupees. However, an option is given to Y to pay installments of 16,000 every month before 8th day of the following month. So এখানে কি করা হচ্ছে? 60,000 rupees you can immediately pay cash and you will get 60,000 rupee laptop. But then there is an offer that X gives to Y. Okay, that you can pay it in installments. What is the installment amount? 16,000 every month, and it has to be paid. A condition is there, you have to pay it before 8th day of the following month. So now over next 4 months, over next 4 months, that is 16,000 into 4 will be 64,000. Now try to compare this. এখানে 64 লেখা, এখানে 60 লেখা. What is the difference? 4,000. What is that 4,000? That is an extra charge. That might be an interest charge. Okay, because there is an installment, there might be an extra charge over there. So further, contract specifies that if there is any delay in payment by Y would be liable to pay additional penal interest of rupees 400. Now, 8th day এর পরে যদি সে payment করে, then there would be a penalty interest of rupees 400 per month for the delay. Now what does Y do? Y agrees to pay by way of monthly installments. So Y has actually selected monthly installments. What is the taxable value? How to solve it? Solution. What is the cost of the laptop? 60,000. Okay, Now additional cost for EMI যদি monthly equal installment দিয়ে সে যদি কেনে তাহলে what is the total cost coming? We have seen that is 64,000, সেটা এলো কি করে 16 into 4,000 4 minus যে original cost, so how much extra he has to pay? 4,000, that is the additional cost for EMI. Okay, so penal charges, are there any penalty charges? Not at all. So যদি থাকে then we will write it over here. Okay, if there is 200 we'll write 200, if there is consecutively 3 মাসের জন্য 200 করে থাকে then it will be 600, 200 plus 200 plus 200. Okay, so according to the question it will be there. So what is the total that comes to? আমাদের তো কিছু নেই, so we have written just if any, so just leave it blank for the moment. The taxable value comes to 64,000. Okay, why? Because it has included that interest amount. Had there been any penalty amount, it would have included that as well. The taxable value would have increased by that amount as well. Okay, so over here in this question the taxable value is 64,000. So we have discussed interest as well. So we have discussed all of this. Now let us move to the other one. We discussed inclusion over here. Let us move to the exclusion in value of supply. What are the figures that are excluded? What are the things that are excluded? When we come to exclusion in value of supply, first of all we need to keep in mind one thing, and that is that it is only related to discount. Now what kind of discount? First, and discounts that are declared at the time or before supply. Just for example, Shoppers Stop is having 50% discount for puja. Okay, that is puja offer. Now এবার তুমি বলো, did you even go to buy the product from Shoppers Stop? Not at all. But let me ask you this question, is the discount still available? Even you have not yet gone over there, but is the discount available? Yes, the discount is available. That is before supply the discount has been declared. Okay, that is discount that is declared before supply. Now it can also be possible that when you go and purchase, and since you're purchasing it in bulk, let's say your amount has been 1 lakh, you have been given 20% discount on spot. It might not be declared, আগে থেকে হয়তো কোনো জায়গায় সেখানে ডিক্লেয়ার করে রাখেনি যে 20% ডিসকাউন্ট অ্যাভেলেবল করতে পারো, বাট sometimes you may go and shop for huge amount and then you get on spot discount. That is discount that is declared at the time of supply. Okay, so in these two situations we need to also see if that discount has been included in the invoice. Okay, and if this satisfies then we will exclude that amount from the value of supply. Now let us try to understand this condition better. If included in invoice, what is it trying to say? বলছে যে ডিসকাউন্টটাকে কিন্তু প্রপারলি মেনশন করে দিতে হবে বিলের মধ্যে. There may be times when you have experienced that you have purchased some product, হয়তো 10,000 এর প্রোডাক্ট তোমাকে 8,000 এ দিয়েছে কিন্তু বিলে 10,000 লেখা. Usually when you go to buy phones you will find that happening a lot. That used to happen previously, but now this statement has been issued or this condition has been given that if you want to reduce the value of supply, why reduce the value of supply? Because it will ultimately reduce your tax burden. So reduce করতে পারলে আমারই লাভ. So if you want to reduce the value of supply, better mention the discount on the invoice. If it is not mentioned, then taxable value would be whatever is mentioned in the invoice. Okay, so this particular condition is only available when the discount amount has been included in the invoice. So this is one part of discount. What is the other part of discount? Discount that is declared after the supply. When does that happen? After the supply কখন discount declare করে? Just for example, it can happen that you may end up purchasing a huge amount, and then it's written that okay, if you end up purchasing more, then according to the lot you will be given some extra discount. Okay, some slab basis discount that are there. এটা হয়তো তুমি কয়েকটা item কিনলে you will not get, but sometimes you may get it because you have purchased it in lots. ঠিক আছে, so that is declared after the supply. It's not that তুমি যখন কিনতে যাচ্ছ তখনই এটা available আছে, but it is based on the slab. It is based on already a pre-decided agreement, pre-decided matter that okay fine, if I go and purchase it in that amount of lot, then this amount of discount will be available. If I purchase even more, then I will get more discount. Slab basis. 5 কিলোর জায়গায় আমি যদি 15 কিলো কিনি, তাহলে obviously আমি 10% ডিসকাউন্ট পাচ্ছি। 15 কিলোর জায়গায় 30 কিলো কিনলে আমি 15% ডিসকাউন্ট পাচ্ছি বা 20% পাচ্ছি। Okay, that is slab basis. That is not declared at the time or before the supply, but that is there because that makes you to buy more to avail the discount. That is after the supply. Okay, in such case we need to see that this particular case will only be excluded when there the condition is under an agreement. মানে এটা কিন্তু মন মোতাবেক চলবে না, there is an agreement, there is a written policy. Only then this can be deducted. Next, যে অ্যামাউন্টটা ডিডাক্ট করা হয়েছে with respect to that input tax credit has to be reversed. It has to be reversed. Okay, if these two conditions are satisfied, then the value of supply can be reduced by that amount of discount. So let us move ahead with case studies to understand this situation and this one. Case 1. X Limited is a biscuit manufacturing company in Bhiwandi, Maharashtra. It generally gives a trade discount of 20%. Now, generally gives a trade discount মানে কি? এটার মানে হলো, does it belong to the first case or second case? It belongs to the first case. What was the first case? Discount that is declared at the time or before supply. This is at the time or before supply. It generally gives a trade discount 20% in the list price when goods are purchased by a distributor. So it is at the time of purchase. Okay, at the time of supply. During December 2021, it offers Christmas Bonanza offer under which a special Christmas discount of 10% is given on the list price of all products to its distributors in addition to the normal discount of 20%. Normal discount 20%, Christmas Bonanza offer এ কত পাচ্ছে? They are getting 10% extra. Now here comes the distributor. A Limited, one of the distributors from Karnataka, purchases 1000 packets of chocolate biscuits. কবে সে purchase করলো? November 30th. And 2000 packets of the same biscuits on December 1st, 2021. GST rate is 18%. Calculate the taxable value and the GST chargeable. আচ্ছা, এখানে কিন্তু দুটো কোশ্চেন আছে। একটা taxable value calculate করতে হবে, secondly GST কত chargeable হচ্ছে that also we need to calculate. Okay, so এখানে দেখো firstly অফারটা কবে available ওই extra 10%. Look at this statement that starts from here. During December 2021, that means only during December the Christmas Bonanza offer is available. তার মানে is that offer available on the packets that has been purchased on November 30th? Not at all. সে তো ডিসেম্বর নয়, একদিনের ডিফারেন্স হলে কি হলো? ডিসেম্বর হলে ডিসেম্বরে পাবে, নভেম্বর হলে পাবে না। ঠিক আছে? So how to solve this? First, we see that there are two different lot of orders. So let us make two different columns based on their date, November 30th and December 1. Number of packets ordered on November 30th, they ordered 1000 packets. December 1st day, 2000 packets. What is the cost of each packet? 40 rupees each. So if we multiply that, what is the total cost of order? It comes to 10 into 40, 10,000 into 40, which comes to 40,000. 2000 into 40, which comes to 80,000. Now discount, general discount, যেটা একদম প্রথম লাইনে আমরা দেখেছিলাম যে trade discount is usually given 20%. So let's deduct 20%. So if we deduct 20% from each of this, okay, then What else can we do? Next, we need to also consider the Christmas discount offer, the Christmas bonanza of 10%. Okay. Now, 10% will not be applicable on November, but it will be applicable on December. So that's why we have written nil over here, and we have calculated the 10% discount under December 1st. So it comes to 10% of 80,000, which comes to 8,000. Okay. So now what is the total? Taxable value is 32,000 and 56,000. Now we have finished this portion. Okay, look at this. আমরা taxable value calculate করার জন্য transaction value থেকে we have reduced the discount. Okay, now what is the GST chargeable? Now GST, what GST would be chargeable? Will it be CGST, SGST or IGST? CGST, SGST কোথায় চার্জ করা হয়? If it is within the state. But IGST কখন চার্জ করা হয়? If it is between two different states. Now check this. X Limited. Where is X Limited situated? X Limited, in the first line it is given Bhiwandi, Maharashtra. X is situated in Maharashtra. Where is A Limited situated? A Limited in this line, check this out. A Limited is situated in Karnataka. Maharashtra and Karnataka are two different states. So over here IGST would be applicable. At what rate? 18%. Okay, 18% of 32,000 comes to 5760, and 56,000 at 18% কত আসে? 10,080. So when we do an addition, the total amount that comes is on November 30th 37,760, and on December 1st 66,080. Okay, let us go to the next case. It is written Y Limited manufactures slow juicer. List price for supply to distributors rupees 15,000. GST at the rate 28%. It offers a special Diwali discount of 12% to its distributors if more than 100 pieces are sold during October 2021. এখানে ভালো করে দেখো কি বলছে। এখানে বলেছে this offer of special Diwali discount is available only if 100 pieces or more are sold during October 2021. এখানে একটা condition আছে। Only when the condition is satisfied, then only this Diwali discount is available. Now, this discount will be available for supplies taken by distributors for November 2021. কবে কিনলে পাওয়া যাবে? নভেম্বরে কিনলে পাওয়া যাবে। চলো, Z and Company is one of the distributors in Solapur. It places an order of 70 pieces of juicer on 30th October 2021 for retail sale for November 2021. ঠিক আছে, এবার কবে সেল করতে চাইছে Z and Company? Z and Company will sell it in November. That's why they have placed the order in October. Now, are they eligible to get the discount যদি ওরা condition satisfy করে? Because this particular line tells that this discount will be available for supplies taken by distributors for November. এখানে কিন্তু একবারও বলছে না discount will be available if the order is placed on November. এটা কিন্তু বলেনি, কিন্তু বলেছে কি for supplies taken by distributors for November. তার মানে if the distributors are planning to sell the products for November, then they can avail this offer. So now look at Z and Company. They are purchasing on October 30th, but for when? For sale in November. That means this condition is satisfied by Z and Company, so they can avail the offer if they meet that 100 pieces or more condition. Okay, now as data for October 2021 is not available on October 30th 2021, Y Limited issues invoice as follows. এই ইনভয়েসটা ইস্যু করে দেওয়া হয়েছে। why? Because they have no data about it. ওকে, অক্টোবরের ডাটা কিন্তু 30th অক্টোবরের মধ্যে পাওয়া যায়নি, that's why. So 70 slow juicer order করেছে, multiplied by 15,000 because each cost 15,000, then GST has been added. Okay, and the total comes to 13,44,000. তারপর বলছে data for October is compiled on November 10th 2021. 10 নভেম্বরে গিয়ে সেটা কম্পাইল করা হয়েছে। টোটাল সেল মেড বাই জেড এন্ড কোম্পানি ডিউরিং October 2021 is more than 100 pieces. Look at this. This condition is also satisfied by Z and company. Now what will be the taxable value? Okay, so Z and company qualifies for the condition, so they can get 12% discount. Okay, solution: how to solve this? First, we need to consider those two conditions. First condition, whether terms of agreement existed at the time of supply. Did any agreement exist? Yes. What was the agreement? If more than 100 pieces are sold in 21, Diwali discount of 12% is available to distributors. That was the agreement that was there. লিখিত ছিল সেটা. Okay. Next condition, whether recipient is ready to reverse the input tax credit. এই কোশ্চেনে কিন্তু কিছু বলেনি whether they will be reversing the input tax credit or not. Okay, they have not said anything over there, so that's why we have to answer it that way. If ZN company is ready to reverse the input tax credit, if yes, then taxable value would be এই যে অ্যামাউন্টটা আছে 13,44,000 minus 12%, which comes to 11,82,720. Okay, now this is the taxable value. Now I hope things are clear. Let us conclude the class for today. Thank you.